Today is a bit of a cautionary tale and something to consider as you progress through this healing journey. Welcome. I'm Peggy Oliveira. Thank you for joining me. So I want to start actually with something to consider as you progress through this journey, and that is the sense of freedom that comes from healing. And that sense of freedom, I know it can be hard to really imagine when you're not there yet. But that sense of freedom is a sense of lightness. It's a sense of knowing, trusting that no matter what is going on around you or inside of you, that you still feel grounded and safe, loved and supported and okay. And the cautionary aspect of this comes from, in my own experience personally, in my experience and my work, but then also just generally knowing what this process is, that so often along this healing journey, so when people are like kind of halfway through, so to speak, or on the other side, people will often feel a sense of grief, sometimes regret, around not being able to fully enjoy the sense of freedom that healing has brought, because there are other factors, other things that they're having to deal with. And in particular, what I'm referring to is like chronic sorts of medical conditions, chronic pain, different kinds of difficulties predominantly related to that. Another one is around like relationships and children, if they want to have children, that sort of thing. So the cautionary aspect, the cautionary tale of this is really more just kind of something for you to consider and a personal plea in a sense, because I want you, no matter how old you are, whether you're a teenager in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s, or beyond, you deserve to be able to feel that full sense of freedom that comes with healing. And when you are not taking care of yourself, when you're not taking care of your needs, just human needs, when you're not taking care of your physical needs, your emotional needs, when you're not honoring your body and what it needs, like with illness or injury, you create a circumstance in which you are more likely to have ongoing difficulty throughout your life. Sometimes some of those things can get better, sometimes they don't. And for a lot of people, because they don't take care of themselves, whether it's, even up to 30 years old or certainly up to 50 or 60 years old, then it's much harder to undo some of the damage, so to speak, that they've done to their wellness overall. And so I'd like you to take a moment and think about, how do you take care of yourself? Are you taking care of yourself? Like really, maybe even pause this and think about what's been going on with you in the last couple weeks or so. Has there been any pain? Has there been any sort of weird thing happening that you think, that's weird, maybe I should call the doctor, and you haven't? Have you not been hydrating yourself very well? Are you not getting enough sleep? Are you not moving your body enough? And I'm not necessarily talking about exercise, or certainly strenuous exercise, but even just moving your body around. Are you isolating? That may not be a physical thing, though it does have physical impact. Are you isolating? Are you not honoring your own boundaries? Like there are a lot of ways that we are not taking care of ourselves sometimes. And so I'd like you to really think about what's been going on in the last couple of weeks, and is there a way that you've not been taking care of yourself? I talk a lot about self-care, and that is important. I believe it's a part of being able to build your sense of worthiness and all of that. So I'm talking about self-care ultimately because honoring what you need and what your body needs and taking care of yourself when you're not feeling well, that is a form of self-care. But I'm talking about more than those kinds of extra sorts of things that we often tend to think about. I'm talking about simply taking care of yourself the way that you would want to take care of a child, or the way that you would want somebody that you love to be taken care of. If they're in pain, you likely wouldn't want them to be in pain. You'd want them to go to the doctor and figure out what's going on. If they've been injured, you're likely going to want them to rest and not use the thing that's been injured. But do you do that for yourself, or do you push yourself to move through that injury and just do what you need to do? Taking care of yourself now, no matter how old you are, because it's never too late, taking care of yourself now gives you so much more freedom as you move through and as you arrive on the other side of healing. And you deserve to experience that. And your heart and your mind and your body deserve to experience being taken care of, being pain-free, being well now. Depending on how old you are, you've potentially spent at least a couple decades, if not many decades, not being connected to your body, not honoring your body, or heart or mind in many instances. And particularly the things that you do to your body or aren't doing to your body, for your body, those things can have really lifelong implications. And it can be something relatively kind of mild on the spectrum in terms of the implications, or it can be quite significant. But something as simple as over-exercising, and I mean, it's not really that simple. There's a lot of complicated things that factor into that, but something that seems simple, like just exercising too much. It may not seem like it has much of an impact on you at the current time that you're doing it, but that can have a, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but that can have a compounding effect in a sense, where it may not affect you a whole lot now, or you may not feel it a whole lot now, but a year from now, it kind of catches up with you. That's true also for like nutritional types of things. Like you may not feel bad physically from not giving your body the nutrition it needs, but that's something cumulative is the word I was looking for. Over time, it can have a cumulative effect and impact you in ways that might surprise you, because maybe you even start doing a little bit better, and yet you still can have symptoms or things related to not taking very good care of yourself previously. So that sense of grief, of not being able to experience the full extent of what freedom can mean, feeling regret about not taking care of yourself, not going to that follow-up appointment, whatever it is, that it is ultimately all about grief. And that is a really challenging thing to be able to move through. And I don't want that for any of you. I don't want that for any of us, no matter how old you are. And the younger you are, the less time you've likely been doing whatever the thing is, or not doing the thing that would be good for you. So the less time typically that you've done that, the more likely it is that you're going to be able to mitigate any long-term impact. The longer you've been doing something, not taking care of yourself, the harder it is. It doesn't mean it's impossible. And depending on what it is, it might be completely kind of like reversible in a sense. But it's not too late. Even if you're in your 60s or 70s, if there's a way that you're not taking care of yourself, you can start today. And it can begin to make a difference So something like making that doctor's appointment or putting your feet up, giving yourself, kind of allowing yourself the space and the ability to be taken care of even by yourself. Making sure that you're getting enough hydration. If you're not feeling well, being able to take medicine if that's what would make you feel better. I know for so many people, they won't even take something for a pretty bad headache. And there are different reasons for that. None of them are really very good in terms of healthiness. But taking care of yourself, being mindful of that, and being mindful of what that means for your future self that gets to experience the reality of what it means to heal. The thing that right now may seem impossible for you. But if you stick with this process, there will come a time when you will recognize, like, oh, this is what healing is. This is what healing can feel like. And when you're there and you have that moment, I want you to be able to fully embrace it and enjoy it. I don't want you to feel like you've lost out on some of that because you can't enjoy it now because you have a lifelong chronic medical condition or pain. You deserve to feel that full freedom. You deserve to be taken care of now. So please, take some time, maybe get out your journal and identify and be honest with yourself. What are some of the ways that you're not taking care of yourself? And whether it's the absence of something or something that you're doing that is not good for you, they both count. And then think about what is something small that you can do to begin to shift that. Not only does it not have to be something big, but I would really encourage you to not have it be something big. So, like I said, putting your feet up. If your legs, your back, your feet are feeling sore or tired or whatever, literally thinking, okay, I'm going to put my feet up and this is taking care of me. Or maybe you know that you don't get enough water in a day, maybe setting a timer and just taking a few drinks of water every so often. So it's not about having to completely change something. It's about what can I add to help. And I've been talking a lot about our physical body and our health. And all of that is very important. And that's often where a lot of things tend to come up as people are healing. But our heart is a big part of that too. And that can come from spending so much time isolating. It can come from spending far too long in a relationship that is not very healthy. And when I say too long, meaning that it's not a judgment, it's that you've just spent a lot of your life in a relationship that was not healthy and giving to you. So you're hurting your heart in that way, not honoring your needs when it comes to like things that you want or desire or boundaries. That is something that affects your heart. And I'm not talking about medically, though there is some evidence that can actually affect your heart medically. But I'm talking more about the emotional part of your heart, the part of your heart that feels so deeply. And then when it comes to your mind, I think a lot of people are more aware of the ways that we're not taking care of our mind in terms of what are we saying to ourselves. That's a big piece of it, incorporating self-compassion. So identify what are some of the ways that you're not taking very good care of yourself in those three realms, heart, mind, body. And then what are some things that you can begin to incorporate? Maybe it's every day, maybe it's a list of things that you try to do one of them every day. however you want to think about it, in a way that works for you, that you can begin to incorporate. And one of the things that I know about changing behavior and habits and that sort of thing is that as you mindfully do something, so making yourself do something over time, it becomes a habit and you don't necessarily have to think about it much anymore, which is part of the reason why habits are really difficult to break, because you're not consciously thinking about doing that thing typically. So what is something that you can do? Really think about it. We're halfway through this year. Can you make the rest of 2024 something to be consciously mindful of, to try to incorporate ways that you can take care of yourself? Maybe you make that doctor appointment. Maybe you refrain from doing that thing that keeps feeling painful that you're doing. Maybe you reach out for connection. If you're in a relationship that isn't healthy for you, maybe just giving yourself the space to consider that maybe it's not too late to leave it. Maybe you do deserve more. Maybe all the bad things in the relationship aren't your fault. Even just being able to consider those as possibilities is a start. And all of it over time makes a difference. And again, you deserve to feel that full, deep freedom that comes with healing. And I don't want you to feel that you've maybe reached some of the emotional healing that you wanted, but now you can't enjoy it. You deserve to feel it all. I'd love for you to share what came up for you. What ways are you aware of that you're not necessarily taking very good care of yourself? Maybe what is something that you will try to begin to incorporate? Even if it's every other day. There's no absolutes here. It's just something to be mindful of, to work toward. I'd love for you to connect in the comments. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate all of you. If you haven't yet subscribed, make sure to do so and click the bell for notifications. I'll look forward to seeing you next time.